So UFC Fight Night, Whitaker versus the Ritter just happened. We're going to go through every fight. All the names that are in green are the picks that I got right. All the names in red are the picks that I got wrong. First fight, Martin Buday versus Buchecha. I got this one wrong. I expected more from Buchecha, but I was left sorely disappointed. Martin Buday, his gut was literally hanging down, folding over his shorts. He is the epitome of everything that is wrong with heavyweight right now. Fat, plotty, out of shape, boring, grotesque. And I expected Buchecha to come in good shape. And he was in better shape than Buday, but he just gassed out way too fast. You'd expect a jiu-jitsu grappling master to put up a better performance against a guy like Martin Buday. This is what we have to deal with in heavyweight now. This shit. It was disgraceful. I hated watching it, and I'm actually glad I got that pick wrong because Buchecha does not deserve to win. Okay, so moving on to the next fight. Nguyen, I got this one right. The other guy, Muhammad Yahya, I think his name was. I said this in my previous video. The reason why I picked Nguyen, because he's not a good fighter, but the Muslim fighters that are good are not the ones from the Arabian Peninsula. They're not Pakistanis. They're not North Africans. They're not East Africans. They are only the white Muslims, for the most part, the ones that live around the Caucasus. So every time you pick like a Muslim that's from these other regions, look at Johnson, that knockout that he had, Michael Johnson, against that Moroccan guy, brutal knockout. You're not going to pick a Moroccan, okay? If it's kickboxing and you pick Badr Hari, okay, that's different. That's kickboxing. But in MMA, we haven't seen any good Moroccans. We haven't seen many good North Africans or people from the Arabian Peninsula or from East Africa, right? Or from Afghanistan. Look at that guy that got knocked out by Ricky Simone, one of the Hakparas brothers. Just when these guys get knocked out, they get knocked out bad. Okay? And I figured that Muhammad Yahya was going to be another one of those guys. He got knocked down too many times to count, and the worst eye injury I've ever seen in my life. They should have stopped the fight earlier. I don't know what Jason Herzog was doing, but that eye injury was really, really gross to look at. Good win from Nguyen. Next fight, Ibo Aslan versus Billy Elikana. I picked Elikana. This is a good pick, but Ibo Aslan, he crumbled against Ian Kutelaba. And you would think that he would change his game plan, but he just had nothing. It was pathetic. Again, this is what I'm talking about. These Muslim fighters from other countries that aren't around the Caucasus, they're just bad. The reason is because the Caucasus, these are post-Soviet states. Dagestan and Chechnya are still part of the Russian Federation, but, Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, those are post-Soviet states. The Soviet Union had a big wrestling culture, especially in that part of the world. Turkey doesn't. So much for Ibo, the last Ottoman Aslan. See, if Turkey was part of the Soviet Union, Ibo Aslan would probably win. He's got no good takedown defense, and I'm talking about the Kutelaba fight. And the Elikana fight, nothing really happened. Elikana just won because Ibo Aslan wasn't throwing shit, so they just gave it to Elikana. Good win from Elikana. Move on to the next one. Ribas versus Richie. I picked Ribas just because I'm going to pick the woman that's taller with the longer range. But it didn't work. I'm not going to talk too much about this fight. Richie won. Good for her. Next fight, Blackshear. I picked Blackshear because of my notion that black fighters are going to beat white fighters when they are both at the mid-tier level. When you have a white fighter that's mid and a black fighter that's mid, I'm going to pick the black fighter just because the extra, what I like to call melanin points, add up. But Blackshear, I'll be honest, I don't watch Blackshear fight all that often. So I'm not really familiar with him. He's garbage. That's all I'll say about Blackshear. Next fight, Carlos Leal versus Muslim Salikov. I am never again picking based on age. This is the year of the unks. Carlos Leal, He's on so many different horse steroids, and I figured, okay, he's younger, he's hungrier. He's going to beat up this old man who's 41 years old. But he just walks into an overhand right because he's a fucking dumbass. Walks into a big overhand right. It was a beautiful knockout. Just sends Carlos Leal's head all the way back. Out cold. Good win for Muslim Salikov. I'm never picking based on age again. The older you are, the more likely you're going to win. That's my philosophy from this point on. And then the next fight, Thug Nasty Mitchell. Good pick. I picked Mitchell. It was a good fight. It was a good grappling fight. We don't get many of these grappling fights. And it was a good switch up for Mitchell because he did lose the first round. He got kneed, knocked down. He was going to get his ass beat if he just stood on the feet, so he had to take it to the ground. And you take down a guy from Dagestan and you grapple him like that, finally you get a taste of your own medicine. Finally. Now I know Said Nurmagomedov, he's not known for grappling himself. He's not a pressure wrestler. He's more of a striker, but still, they did wrestling when they were really, really young. So impressive win for Mitchell. He's not going to last long at bantamweight. Right? He's not an elite fighter. He's a mid-level fighter. But good win for Mitchell. Next fight in the main card, Guskov versus Nikita Krylov. I picked Guskov to win, and that was a good pick on my part. Nikita Krylov, he had a brutal injury, and so he was very inactive. Then he fights Dominic Reyes, brutally knocked out by Reyes. Why would you pick him to go against a guy like Guskov? Guskov is good. He's like, what, on a 5-fight winning streak now? He's already in a top 10 contender. He's going to get a big fight next at light heavyweight. Why would you ever pick Nikita Krylov? He's not the same guy that went to war with Ankalaev. He's not the same guy that submitted Ryan Spann, that had all these good fights in the past. He's not that guy anymore. He used to fight under the Ukrainian flag. Now he fights under the Russian flag. Now, I don't know if he lives in the Donbass, but that's what's next for him. He's going to be a frontline soldier in the Donbass, getting hit by FPV drones and artillery shells. Because what are they going to give him? Junior Tafa? Justin Tafa? Whatever the fuck his name is. Junior, right? Who's he going to fight next? They're going to put him against like some really bottom of the barrel guys at light heavyweight. They're probably going to give him the guy that just beat Junior Tafa. Forget his name. Tuco Tacos. They're probably going to give him Tuco Tacos at this point. Because it's a really pathetic performance. You get knocked down twice in the first round. 2 first-round back-to-back KOs in the first round. What are you doing? You're supposed to be technical and grapple heavy. But I guess that big shoulder injury or whatever he had just fucked him up. So, R.I.P. Nikita Krylov. R.I.P. Next fight, Asu Almabayev versus Ochoa. Look, I'm half Ecuadorian. Let me tell you something. Peruvians, they're not that good at fighting. Okay, they're just not. Ecuadorians are. We've got Marlon Vera. We've got Morales. We've got the other Vera, which, the 2 Veras aren't the best, but, Marlon Vera, he's made it far-ish. He's a ranked fighter. He's high up there. These Peruvian guys, I think the guy that fought Marisa Ruffy, Lontop, wasn't he Peruvian as well? Let me check real quick. I think he was. James Lontop, wasn't he Peruvian? Yeah, he was. I remember. He's Peruvian. And then there was another Peruvian fighter that fought at the Sphere, I think. The Noche UFC Sphere. The card with O'Malley and Dvalishvili, the first fight. They're just not good, man. Like, I don't know what it is with Peruvians, but that was a big factor of why I picked Almabayev. If you have to pick between a Kazakhstani or a Kazakh, however you call them, versus a Peruvian, pick the Kazakh. That was a good pick on my part. A lot of dumbasses were picking Ochoa. Almabayev, that was an easy pick. It was like a pick 'em fight. Nobody was picking Almabayev. Remember, I thought that the fight that he had with Manel Cap, he got what, like a lot of fouls in that fight. He got kicked in the nuts or eye poked or something, or maybe I'm confusing fights, but like that was a very dirty fight from Cap. Cap fights very dirty, so I wasn't going to hold that against Almabayev. He did what he had to do. He wrestled with him, grappled him, took him down. Good fight from Albayev. Next fight, Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriol. I picked Magomedov. I thought this was going to be a layup for Share a Bullet, but he got his nose broken. And there was a funny meme, a still image of him. He looks like just a fucking troll doll or something. He looked really messed up, fucked up his nose. He's going to have a fucked up JDM nose from here on out. But he did win. He did do a lot of damage on Barriol. Cut him on the head. He was bleeding everywhere. Got the knockdown at the end. Yeah, Share a Bullet. I'm not so hyped up for him anymore. MVP fraud checked him, and then you go to war against a guy like Barriol, man. That's not a good look. But good pick on my part. Co-main event, Petr Yan versus Marcus McGee. Good fight from Petr Yan. Marcus McGee, he won the first round, but then he just didn't have anything the other two rounds. Petr Yan with his vintage trip at the end of the third. Good win for him. He's going to get the next title shot. He's going to get the rematch with Merab at this point. Once Merab steamrolls through Corey Sandhagen, they're going to have to give it to Petr Yan because there's nobody left. They're not going to give it to Umar because he's got a fight coming up eventually with somebody else. Apparently, his fight's going to be with, what's his name? The Mexican that everybody hates. Forget his name. Batista. Mario Batista. Apparently, it's going to be with him. That's what people are saying. And then some people are saying Song Yadong. I don't think it's going to be Song Yadong. It's going to be with Mario Batista. So yeah, Petr Yan gets his next title shot probably at the beginning of next year. It'll probably be a co-main event of... You know what? I could imagine it being a co-main event for Islam versus JDM if that's not going to happen this year. The Islam versus JDM fight might happen in December. I don't know. We don't know about that fight. Islam's going to have to bulk up a lot, and apparently he's been having some trouble, so we'll see. Main event, RDR versus Whittaker. It's a good fight. It seems like such a pain in the ass and exhausting just to fight a guy like RDR. Because you just have to watch out for those knees, and he always goes for those he's just so annoying. He's long, and he's thick. It's like you're fighting against a light heavyweight. I don't know. He doesn't look like a middleweight. He looks like a light heavyweight. But, yeah. Whittaker, he had a big overhand right in the third. He won the first round. I say he won the third, but he lost the second and the fourth and the fifth. So it was a sloppy win from RDR, but a lot of his fights are sloppy. Sloppy fight with Mearshart and now a sloppy fight with Whittaker, but he's winning so far. But I don't think he's going to get a title shot. I don't think he's going to become a champion. He's going to hit a brick wall eventually. Who's the next fight that they're going to do? The loser of Chimaev and Duplessis, maybe. Or the loser of Imavov and Barrio. He's going to get a big fight. I don't think they're going to put him against Adesanya. I don't think Adesanya would want to take that fight. But, yeah, good win from RDR. I picked RDR. We got 8 picks right, 4 picks wrong. We're in the green. We're in the positive. Good card. Looking back, I shouldn't have picked Leal. I would have picked Blackshear no matter what. Ribas. Women's fights are so hard to pick. And then Buchecha was just a big disappointment. But all the other ones, I think I did some good analysis on those. So yeah, good fight card. Now we have to wait 2 weeks for such an exciting card in Tatsuro Taira versus Amir Albazi. Yummy. See you then. Peace out.